Hello, I'm Terry Klein. For me, right now, it is Saturday, April 17th. It is 11:58 a.m. and we are on the verge of starting the weekly that sort of glorifies it. Starting a live stream. And so I say hello to you. What I am going to do right now, since I am live, is I am going to share a link to this stream on my Facebook situation doodad, and um, and we'll get it going. Hey Jim, hey Kathy, wow, Kathy joins us from Marblehead, Massachusetts, uh, and Jacques. It's very nice to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I played a gig with Jack Mees in God, what town were we in? Um, I played with Bart de Win and Jack Mees in the Netherlands, in a beautiful park, Floralia Park, I think is what it was called, but I can't remember what town. I can't. It's a tragedy. Let's see here. What I'm trying to do at the moment, though Facebook is just kind of be like, no, you're not. Oh, there it is. Okay. Is I'm going to share this feed. And this is what I'm doing. I'm typing. And now, I was going to do live now. It was an Ooster hat. That's right. Hey, Larry. What I was going to do is I was going to type live now with just a period, a mere period. But I decided to delete the period and add an exclamation point because it's exciting, right? It's exciting. We're excited. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. So it is noon, Saturday, April 17th. And I'm just going to play some songs for you for about an hour. And talk about some things and plans going forward and news of varying levels of excitement. And that's what we're gonna do. I think I'm gonna. I'm scrounging for a dollar, boy. I'm scrounging for change. I need money for my cigarettes. Got a habit I can't shake. Oh, just be grateful. It's nicotine and not the stuff they sell up Ardmore. Yeah, look between the cushions, boy, and check the bottom drawer. Yeah, we got $2.45. We're still $1.60 short. Oh, don't bother checking that pickle jar. Ain't nothing in there anymore. We need $1 for 2 quarters and a dime. Just $1, 2 quarters and a dime. Oh, I don't have a license, boy. Well, just take my mama's car. Oh, she's with her man down in Hermosa. He runs his book out of a bar. Oh, we'll just head over to Diaz Market, boy. That's okay. It ain't there. I'll take a pack of L&M's. I'm sorry about all this change. Yeah, you know me, and I know you. We both know that I'm of age. I'm gonna rip this plastic wrapper off and smoke these latchkey blues right away. Yeah, we got that dollar. 2 quarters and a dime. Oh, a dollar. 2 quarters and a dime. Happy Saturday, April 17th, 12:04 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. The name of that tune is a dollar, 2 quarters, and a dime. It is the B-side on a little 45 vinyl record that I made with Need to Know Music and released just a little over a year ago now, and you can buy that from me at my store if you like it. It sounds really cool. It looks really cool. It's just a neat little thing that we put together. We're in the writing room here, and for a few reasons. The first is that it's rather windy. I don't know if it qualifies quite as blustery because we're not getting any precipitation, but it's really darn windy out there in the yard, and there's all kinds of stuff blowing around, and so basically, if we did that, if I were to play my hour-long set out there, basically all you would hear the entire time would just be, and that would not be good. We wouldn't like that. So that's one reason. But the other reason is that toward the end of the year, I got a Wi-Fi signal out here in the writing room, or as we call it, the man shack. So I got a Wi-Fi signal run out here, and it's really it's affected my creativity, but in a really good way, actually. It's encouraged me to spend a lot more time out here. It's enabled me to kind of pursue little inspirations that I get along the way that were harder to chase when I didn't have a signal. But the other cool thing about getting Wi-Fi out here is I can play out here. I'm not going to disrupt things that are happening in the house. And you get, I think, generally, having watched some of the replays of these things, you get a nice clean signal, and you get good clean video, and you get nice audio, and it's a better experience for everyone. So if you're watching, you know the deal here. I tend not to have a set list. So if there's a song of mine or of somebody else's that you think that you've heard me play or that you think would sound good coming out of this face, then you ask for it. And I'll do it. And yeah, I mean that's kind of that's the drill, y'all. It's nice to see y'all. Oh, wow, Jim Carroll asked for better luck next time. Well, I'm going to play that. I need to tune a little bit while I do that, but yeah, I'm very happy to play that tune. In other news, so next weekend, we're not going to do this. Next weekend, interestingly enough, I'm going to be playing a live show. Sunday, at a place called Crimson Creek Barbecue out on Nutty Brown Road. For you unfortunate non-Texans, Yes, there is a place called Nutty Brown Road. And I'll put some details about that up on my website. There'll probably be a Facebook event. And so if you're out in that neck of the woods on Sunday afternoon, well, I'd love to do this for you in person. It's from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. And so my plan is to do that, and then we'll come back and do this the week after that. And then I think I might shift these things to monthly. You know, I like to play these things so that people who aren't in Texas can share in the fun. But as gigging starts to happen again, we just I have to allocate priorities. So I think I'm going to do this once a month, and that way people from Europe can check things out. That's the plan right now. Unless things go sideways, I guess, which they could. All right, this is Better Luck Next Time. I put the books in a box just as quick as I can, and I hope she doesn't see it. No, she's downstairs in the kitchen with a half-drunk can of beer. Birds keep singing and the grass still grows. Let her look next time. Let her look next time. The box goes in the closet where she never looks, and I wonder what the hell we'll do next. I sit down at the table and I try to take her hand. She says I don't want to be touched just yet. Let her look next time. Let her look next time. I say, tell me what you wanna do, I'll do anything at all. And she says, honey, just get me out of here. So we jump into the car and we ride through the night in a useless attempt to outrun our tears. Let her look next time. Let her look next time. Well, now I'm lying on a bed in a broken down motel, and silently I begin to cry. She sits down next to me and puts her hand on my arm. She says, we'll have better luck next time. Let her look next time. Let her look next time. Let her look. That song is called Better Luck Next Time. I wrote that song. I went to a songwriting workshop or a retreat, kind of a mix of the two, in October of 2015. It was before we had moved to Austin. So I went to a retreat. That's the weekend I met Walt Wilkins, who has produced both of my records, Victor Camosi, with whom I've written a handful of songs, and Mark Abrams, who, as you have heard me say repeatedly, there is no finer songwriter in Texas than Mark Abrams. So we all gathered at Kevin Welsh's house in Wimberley over that weekend. My Airbnb host, unbeknownst to me, was Robin Ludwig. So it was just all kinds of music, people all over the darn place. The first day of the retreat, Victor and I wrote the song Notches. It was that we met and sat down at a table and wrote that song. We're immediately just really close friends, just kind of from the get-go. It's fun how that happens sometimes. And the second day, I sat on the side porch at Kevin's house, right outside his kitchen, at a chair, and I think there was a little table out there. I'd had an inkling about that song a few weeks earlier, but I hadn't kind of found myself in the emotional space where I could write it. And then I did. And then it sat for several months. I didn't play it myself. I didn't play it for anybody else. Then I went to a workshop in Nashville with Mary Gaucher, which is when the second time I met her, actually. And I played that for her, and she encouraged me to share it with folks. And the rest is, I don't know if it's history, but the rest is the rest. And my guitar is way out of tune. It's just way out of tune. So that's what we got. That's what we got out of that song. Saturday, April 17th, it's 12:15 p.m. This is the live stream of me. I in the past it has been weekly. I don't want to quite glorify it as calling it a weekly thing, because as I said at the outset, we're going to be sort of intermittent here, but it's the regular it is my live stream. It's a live stream. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Let's see. I'm going to tune here for a second, and then I'm going to play something. I don't know what. I don't know what. If there's something you want to hear, let me know. If you're here, give me a wave, say hi. That's super helpful. If you dig what you're hearing, if you enjoy what you're hearing, share it with your friends. Put a little link up on, click that share button on Facebook. I think I'm going to play the first song that I finished after that Mary Gaucher workshop in January of 2016. You come out of those sorts of experiences, those kind of heavy, formative, incredible experiences, and your head's brimming, and it takes you a little while to sort of compose yourself a little bit. So that was the middle of January, and over the course of February, I wrote this song, and it sat for a long time. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's called Daddy's Store. At the store before 6 every morning, in khakis and a button-down shirt. Clatter of the roll-up door ringing in my ear. Lean on that old deadbolt until it turns, and hum a song I can't remember as I push the dust across the floor and drum my fingers on the counter as I mind my daddy's store. My brother chucked his cap and gown, he packed his car and he left town. He's in Houston, hanging pipes and raising hell. Well, Daddy slipped and broke his hip the spring I turned 18. I said, well, that store won't run itself. And that song I can't remember, I heard it 1,000 times before. My friends think I surrender, 'cause I'm my daddy's store. Oh, oh, Daddy's leg healed all right, but his memories are fading. In his eyes I see fog of fear and age. Good days, he asked me, son, how's that store doing? Bad days, he can't remember my name. And that song keeps repeating over and again forevermore. As long as that man is breathing, yes, I'll mind my daddy's store. Okay, that song is called Daddy's Store. It's on the second record. It sounds really cool. On the second record, Kim Deschamps plays pedal steel on it. It just adds a really wonderful kind of size and gravity, I guess you could say, to the tune. What I had mentioned last week is that I wasn't sure that this was going to happen today because the plan was for me to, and the schedule was for me to get the second Moderna shot on Thursday, late in the afternoon. We had a storm roll through on late Thursday, and so the site where I was getting vaccinated just postponed all those appointments until Monday. which was kind of a bummer. I have to say, it sort of bummed me out. And I know the second shot is no picnic, but I was just kind of looking forward to having it done with. So now it's Monday, this coming Monday, and how could weather affect vaccination schedule? Well, here I think, and I'm probably all over the country, but in Texas we have these outdoor mass vaccination sites, and so that's where Lindsay and I volunteered there for 6 hours about a month ago, and as compensation for that, they gave us our first shots and gave us appointments for our second shot. So that's how it all happens. I'm wearing a Jackson Emmer hat today. I don't know why. It was the first hat I saw, and also I like Jackson, and I want to support him any way I can. Jackson and I over the last several weeks wrote this tune that I debuted last week for last week's live stream. It's called "The Salt," and as I noted after I played it, I'm kind of fond of it. So let's give it another try, and thank you all so much for being here. Saturday, April 17th, 12:25 p.m. I don't need you to try and fix this, 'cause you can't. Well, I trust in time you'll come to understand. If my heart had a window, you'd see the darkness and the stardust that made me. It's time to change the weather in my head. I'll fly above these storm clouds up ahead. No stranger to the lonely aches of time. Still these stubborn ripples in my mind. Yes, patience is a virtue, but I wouldn't really know. Some days you float, some days you fall, some days you can't let go. It's not so much the bitter tears as the salt they leave behind. I'll be fine. The shadow follows every grain of sand. It crawls along with no design or plan. So stay with me a moment if you will. Sometimes love is simply sitting still. Yes, patience is a virtue, but I wouldn't really know. Some days you float, some days you fall, some days you can't let go. It's not so much the bitter tears as the salt they leave behind. I'll be fine. So that's called The Salt. Wrote that with my friend Jackson Emmer, who I'm representing today. And I like that song. I like that song a lot. It's one of my favorite periods of music. Is the periods and groups of musicians is the Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings era between 1970 and 1975. I think that I think that Dreaming My Dreams, which I listened to a whole bunch of times yesterday, is I think it's just about a perfect record. It sounds great. It's just, each song is just so fantastic. And I think that Jackson and I, as we were writing that song, were reaching for that vibe, for that period vibe. And who knows whether we accomplished it, but we had a great time writing it, and I just so enjoy singing it. Even before it was done, like when we would have half a verse, I would just come out here to the writing room and I would just sit through and I would play it, and I really enjoy it, which is important, I guess. I think, yes, it's important. Saturday, April 17th, we are now at the bottom of the hour. It is 12:30 p.m. Central Time. Is it Central Daylight Time? Is it Central Standard Time? I have no idea. I don't know. I feel like it always is the opposite of what I think. Things are that like the daylight and standard thing. It's always the opposite, which is kind of. It's good that it's non-intuitive, because the whole idea of daylight and standard time these days is totally non-intuitive. It's like the entirety of all bankruptcy law. But that's a separate discussion for a separate context in which I no longer operate. All right, I don't know what I'm going to play. I just don't know. I just don't know. I guess since we had Jacques Mies here at the beginning of the live stream, I'm going to play a song that was inspired by the tour that I did through Europe in 2019. I'm playing a bunch of new songs, and I appreciate your patience with that. Yeah, so the name of this song is July 4th, 2019, I believe. I'm 5,000 miles from Austin, in London, in a Turkish cafe. The irony is not lost on me, as today is Independence Day. But I ain't feeling homesick, and I have my reasons why. North London on the 4th of July. A pint of bitters in Blackheath, a raw herring in Vlardingen town, meat pies in Carlisle, the last orders trying not to fall down. sing for my supper most every night. And you know I don't even mind. In North London on the 4th of July. Well, back home they'll be cooking out burgers, riding jet skis and drinking cheap beer, with the stars and stripes on their boxers. And Jason Aldean in their ears. It's just afternoon here in London. Tomorrow this time I'll be gone. This high street has a hold on me. These folks seem to be getting along. So I think for a while I'll just sit here and watch the world go by. North London on the 4th of July. Yeah, so that song is called July 4th, 2019. I see Larry Looney has checked into the chat. Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman. I will add that to the list. Right now I'm just kind of battling my way through the last part of The Power Broker by Robert Caro, which is 1,200 pages. And from about page 400, it's just about kind of how bad a person is, which can get a little bit much after a while. Beautiful writing, just beautiful, incredibly compelling. So I'm reading that, and I'm reading a book called Confessions of an Igloo Dweller. That book was sent to me by my friend Willa Mamet, and it's by a guy named James Houston, who wrote a bunch of kind of children's and young adult and adult books about, I think, about his experience among the Inuit, and the book is more of a memoir. The writing is fantastic, and it's just he has an incredibly endearing voice, and I appreciate Willa sending it to me. I think I'm gonna play. So my friend Randy Brown, who performs under the name Randy Lewis Brown, this week was selected as one of the finalists in the New Folk competition at the Kerrville Folk Festival. He is right now in the depths of the Grand Canyon, floating the Colorado River, outside of human contact, like at all, I think. And I don't even know if he knows that he got it. But I'm really happy for him about that. On his way out there, he sent me a picture of a blooming ocotillo plant, because I wrote the song I'm about to play. And I was touched by that. We have just a really nice little community of writers that's not just in Texas, it's all over the country, and we all kind of hang out and we support each other and we think about each other. And so the fact that Randy was out in West Texas and took the time to take a picture of a blooming ocotillo plant and put a post up on Facebook that he was thinking about me, that's kind of just how we all operate, and I appreciate that. 12:38 p.m. Saturday, April 17th. This is called When the Ocotillo Bloom. It's the second waltz in a row, so I guess we're just waltzing. If you have room where you are, you can waltz. If you have a loved one with whom you can waltz, even better. Oh, Terlingua, I think I've fallen for you. You haunt my Austin City dreams every night. How the land reclines on down to Lajitas, and the sun spares nothing in sight. To be on that terrace at Milagro in the morning before the heat stakes its ironclad claim in a ghost town surrounded by flat-top mesas in the desert that can never be tamed. Well, I love you, my darling, with all of my heart. Your mountains, your mescaline moon. And I miss you, my darling, more than you know. But I'll be back, yes, I'll be back when the Ocotillo bloom. I'll be back when the Ocotillo bloom. Quicksilver miners rest side by side in a graveyard with crosses of wood. Tourist snap pictures, get burnt by the sun, and talk of buying up the desert. Well, the prices are good. I love you, my darling, with all of my heart. Your mountains, your mescaline moon. And I miss you, my darling, more than you know. But I'll be back, yes, I'll be back when the Ocotillo bloom. I'll be back when the Ocotillo bloom. I love you, my darling, with all of my heart. Your mountains, your mescaline moon. And I miss you, my darling, more than you know. And I'll be back, yes, I'll be back when the Ocotillo bloom. I'll be back when the Ocotillo bloom. That song is called When the Ocotillo Bloom. Jim Carroll, I think he is on the same trip as Dan Weber. And I think that Dan might have got his slot like based on a tip from Randy, because Randy a couple of days ago or last week put up a post that said that a slot had come open on that trip, and like, you want this slot because it's an amazing trip. And I would bet that Dan snatched it up, or they might have been planning to do it because I know they know each other and are fond of each other. So I don't know. I would love to go on a rafting trip with either of those guys because they're just both really good company. And the time passes super easy in their presence. So I'm happy for both of them. Real happy. Let's see. Let's see. We're going to play a family song. called Cheryl. Hasn't made a record yet, but it will. I think. I met Cheryl at a bar on Delancey. It's a straight line from that night to this here cell. Was a good-looking kid from Riverdale. I'd just hit 26. Had a job at a private bank, paid me pretty well. Oh, but she looked just like she'd stepped out of a movie by Louis Malle or Jean-Luc Godard. She smiled when I asked her for her number. She said, "Here it is, just don't break my heart." The thrill of catching lightning in a bottle ends in ashes and a black mark on the ground. Me and Cheryl, we got married 4 months later. My mom and dad were not exactly pleased. See, Cheryl was connected to the outfit in Chicago. Well, I wasn't sure how. It didn't much matter to me. We bought a big old house, moved on up to Westport. And Cheryl hired a maid from Cartagena. My job at the bank, it kept me busy. And Cheryl kept busy moving Lupe's cocaine. The thrill of catching lightning in a bottle ends in ashes and a black mark on the ground. Well, there are certain things you'll always remember, no matter how hard you try to forget. For me, it's the call from Detective White in Westport, telling me that Cheryl and Lupe had been shot dead. And in spite of Lupe's cartel connections and the outfit's concern for just what Cheryl knew, they brought me up on a charge of double murder, and they're holding me till the trial's through. The thrill of catching lightning in a bottle ends in ashes and a black mark on the ground. Well, I doubt I can make it here much longer. I suspect I'll meet my end in this here cell. St. Peter, I won't need that spot in heaven. I'd rather be with Cheryl down in hell. The thrill of catching lightning in a bottle ends in ashes, a black mark on ground. That tune is called Cheryl. Thank you for those kind words, Jim Carroll. Appreciate that. We're at 12:48 p.m. And let's see how many more tunes we can cram in here. If there's something you want to hear in the last few songs, let me know. And if I want to play it, I will. And if I don't want to play it, I probably will. So we got a show at Crimson Creek Barbecue. A show, I can't believe I'm saying that, next Sunday, April 25th. Outdoors, safe, socially distant. There have been rumors that there's actually free beer associated with these things. I have trouble believing that, but that is what I have been told. I don't know. And I'm working on a run of shows at the end of July. With Stephen Prigmore, who some of you know. If you know him, you love him. And Heather Little, who's an incredible songwriter out of East Texas. We are playing, we're working on an Austin date the week of July 26th. Then we head to the Old Quarter on July 29th in Galveston, Texas. We'll be at JP Hop's house in Houston on July 30th. And then I believe we'll be headed up to Texarkana for a show on July 31st. At Foster's, I believe it is. We'll see about that. Everything's in flux, as always. The song is called Wasted on the Living. It's sort of similar thematically to the last song a little bit, in broad themes. The criminal justice system, marriages. I was but a cub reporter all those years ago, working at the Chronicle Observer. Lester Perkins was on trial, and the prosecutors said that Lester had killed his wife and her lover. Lester was a lawyer, and he had an alibi. He said he'd been away at a conference of the bar. The DA found a waitress. She worked just outside of town. She said she'd served him a cup of coffee the night the coupled been struck down. Well, they say life is a wasted on the living. They say true love never fades. A burnt up cup of bitter midnight coffee and a debt that'll never be repaid. Yes, the jury was instructed to carefully review every bit of evidence presented. They were out for 40 minutes. Yeah, that was all it took to send Lester away to San Quentin. The bailiff took him out. Well, I must have caught his eye. He stared down at my brand new wedding band. The sound of the shackles, yes, it haunts me to this day. He opened his mouth to speak, but the bailiff led him away. Well, they say life is a wasted on the living. They say true love never fades. A burnt up cup of bitter midnight coffee, and a debt that'll never be repaid. 36 years later, I got kids and they're all grown. Grandbabies are bouncing on my knee. And all this time, poor Lester, he's been sitting in his cell, getting old and reading law books in the penitentiary. Well, they say life is wasted on the living. They say true love never fades. A burnt up cup of bitter midnight coffee, and a debt that'll never be repaid. That tune is called Wasted on the Living. I have time for one more, and I'm going to play my song Oklahoma for you. My daughter, Zoe, is headed in for her second Pfizer shot. That'll happen in about a half hour, and so we will hope for a smooth next couple days for her. And then Lindsay and I will get our second Moderna shots on Monday, and we shall see. I have a friend right now who's dealing with his second Moderna shot. I believe it's Moderna. And it has knocked him on his backside. The things we have been through. I guess the things we're capable of going through. All right, y'all have a really good week. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy each other. And I won't be here next week, but I will be here the week after that. Go to terrykleinmusic.com and over the next couple days, and I'll be updating the show's calendar, which is exciting. And be good to each other. The song is called Oklahoma. Buy a 6-pack of beer east of Chakota. At a truck stop and I get back onto the road. I drink one after the next and I admire that prairie sunset, and I hope I-40 carries me back home. Well, my sister said the dead could use a visit. I said I don't know what good that would do. See, I've been drinking and depressed and kind of useless. She said it might not be a bad thing for you to. So I'm driving across Oklahoma, doing all I can to stay in my own lane. I should have turned around back in Arkansas, but I got my mother's blood in my veins. Oh, oh. In a cold sweat west of Okemo. I wish my racing heart would just give it a rest. I think of pulling off and picking up a half pint of smearing off, but I hear my mother's sweet voice in my head. She said, I need you to try and be there for your daddy. I know it's hard for you, just do the best you can. Well, she was gone just a few short hours later. And Dad refused to let go of her hand. So I'm driving across Oklahoma, doing all I can, stay in my own lane. I should have turned around back in Arkansas, but I got my mother's blood in my veins. Oh, 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 it'll be my first time at the house since the reception. Well, I've been saying it's tough for me to get away, and now facing down my dear departed memories. My daddy's grief might be more than I can take, but I'm driving across Oklahoma, doing all I can, stay in my own lane. I should have turned around back in Arkansas, but I got my mother's blood in my veins. All right, y'all have a good week. Thank you for being here. If you're watching after the fact, thank you for watching. And I will catch y'all down the road. A peace.